Welcome back. It is another Friday edition of the podcast of the Scoop Around the Loop. And we have just the Thomas and Tyler show again. Tyler, how's your week going?
With the old school Cy on today because it's a big weekend for the Cyclones and the Hawkeyes. My week has been pretty good, pretty productive. I'm getting over my bout with poison ivy, my battle. I fought courageously to this point, and I see the light at the end of the tunnel.
You're thinking this is a big game for Iowa State this weekend? Arizona coming to town?
Yeah, I think so. I think Arizona will finish top 4 in the conference. So if you can knock them down and at least you want as many tiebreakers as possible with the top people in the conference. So I think that's what this one's going to come down to personally.
I'm hoping Iowa just doesn't embarrass themselves. So,
I mean, I'm not an Iowa fan now, but I'm rooting for Iowa to win now that Iowa State beat them. We need all the help. It'd be awesome to have a W against, a top 5 team in the Big Ten on our resume.
Last ranked team to come into Kinnick was Penn State. They lost.
I thought it was Michigan.
No, that wasn't in Kinnick. That was at Michigan.
Oh.
So.
Never know.
Probably not, though. Indiana looks really, really good. So
yeah, I mean, I think if Iowa can find a way to have a week of their defense from 2 weeks ago or 2 years ago, I mean, obviously talent and stuff like that. You have 2 starting NFL cornerbacks on that team. But if they can step up defensively, that's really, which is weird. Now that's where I'm not as confident in the Iowa defense all of a sudden, or the Iowa team after 1 week.
The pass defense could use some improvements, and some of them need to learn how to tackle. But let's talk about some wins that the Springer Brothers team had, though. So let's talk about, you guys had two new listings. Let's start with Indianola, listed at $295,000, not whatever I typed in there. 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath
heck of a deal.
Yeah, well, tell us about it.
So yeah, this is in Indianola, right by the high school, which is going under yet another big time renovation. Not 100% sure what they're doing with it, but that whole campus at like the high school and the Chris Street Memorial Gym and the Casey Blake Rec Center or something like that. It's all a couple streets over. This house also backs to a city park and green space, so there's no backyard neighbors. It's in a mature neighborhood with.
It's a walkout as well.
Yeah, it's a walkout, so super unique. Well cared for. This owner has owned this place for over 45 years. Had been talking about buying something new and finally pulled the trigger, and it's actually building a custom home with Drake Homes. So we're keeping it all in the family with this one. But super. What'd you say?
That's a great example of a situation that someone just stayed like really, really patient and like made a house work, and then is now using all of that equity to move it to an amazing house.
Yeah, and again, like she probably lived below her means, and because of that, her house is really well taken care of as well. 3 bedrooms on the main level, 1.5 bathrooms, finished walkout lower level, no bedroom down there, but it's a pretty large space down there. Waterproofed all around, and that's checked yearly, sump pump, battery backup. HVAC's in really good shape. Windows have all been replaced in past 10 years or so, 15 years. So those are all in really good shape. Siding is great. Concrete is great. The landscaping is great. The deck outside is great. But the really, really cool thing is this big garage on the back side of the house. It's 600 square feet, 2-car garage, but you get a little bit of extra space to the side. That is heated up there. But below that, because the garage sits on a hill, remember, the house itself is a walkout, and so the garage kind of sits up on a hill. When they built that back in the 80s, they were presented with 2 options. Either you just fill that empty space that sits like below next to the hill and below the garage where you park your cars with dirt, or can pour a foundation and make it into a workshop. And so they elected to make it into a workshop. So that bottom right picture you see there is the entrance. You know, the photographer behind them was the backyard there. It was like a side door. So you get a little storage area, and then through those French doors is a heated and cooled workshop with a bunch of outlets. There's what am I trying to say? A tank in there for like nail guns and things of that.
Oh, an air compressor.
Yeah, air compressor. That's what I'm looking for. So it's a super, super unique house. And I think that feature, the workshop underneath the garage, is what makes it stand out from literally everything else in Indianola, let alone everything else for under 300,000. And I mean, all of Central Iowa, really. I can't really find anything else that has a feature like this for this price. So yeah, and she was telling me the other day, the seller, that when they had the garage done, she found the plans when she was trying to track down the abstract or something like that before we listed it. To have that garage done like that with the workshop was $10,000.
How much do you think that would cost today?
80.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Build a big detached 2-car garage and a bunker underneath it.
And that's heated.
90 or something. I don't know. Something crazy like that. But yeah, it was like 10,600 to just build the garage, and fill in that space was going to be like 7,500.
And you
something at the time, and she found the original quote for it. It's kind of cool.
You said this backs up to a park as well?
Yeah, it's not like directly to the park, but there's like a drainage. It looks like a mini East LA river where they put concrete all in it, like in San Andreas. It's kind of what it reminds me of, but it's super, super small, not even really noticeable, but that's like a drainage that leads to a park and green space that's surrounded on like all 4 sides by other houses as well. So the next door neighbor has a pool. I'm not guaranteeing anything, but my next door neighbor has a pool, and the way our situation is set up, that means I have a pool. So if you are charming and can work your charm on your neighbor, you might have a pool as well. So lots to love about this place. And best of all, this weekend it's going to be open.
I will be there. I forget what I said. I think I said 1 to 3.
1 to 3. That's what I've got you down as.
On Sunday. But if you want to see it at a different time, reach out to any of us as well. We would be happy to show it. Geez, if this was in West Des Moines, who knows how much more it would be. I mean, I think you're getting a lot of property for a good price considering what all is included.
Yeah, I mean, maybe like 360 or something, or 370 with that. Again, that workshop is just, again, it's not every buyer is going to have a use for that, but the buyers that do, I think, would be willing to pay extra for that space for sure. I mean, and I have a video coming out today where I'm standing in it, and I'm standing straight up and down in it. I mean, it's not like I can't turn it into a gym. Probably I can't do like overhead presses, but you can move around in it, and it's plenty wide. You guys will see it in the video if you tune into my Instagram and our Facebook for that. But
did you end up getting the text message that you wanted to get? Because we're going to talk about 31st Street next.
No, I didn't.
Well, by the time you're listening to this house might be sold. But Tyler, do you want to talk about 637 31st Street?
Yep, this one is on 31st Street in between the interstate and Ingersoll Avenue. To me, that's the big pull of this house. If you're someone that wants to be in the middle of nowhere and have quiet and no neighbors, this isn't the house for you. But if you're someone that wants to be right in the thick of everything, if you like, going down to Ingersoll Avenue on the weekends and having a bite to eat and a drink or anything like that, or if you just like to be literally right in the center of the map, this is a great location for you. Below $200,000. It's a bungalow, so it's kind of laid out like front to back. On the lot, has that charming front porch. Yeah, I mean, this is just your stereotypical like charming bungalow. So again, if you're looking for a big house in the middle of nowhere, this isn't for you. This is a cozy bungalow right in the middle of the action, which
If you lived in
some
this
buyers love.
neighborhood by Ingersoll, what spot would you be walking to most often?
Well, I lived on 35th Street. That was my first house, just a couple streets over. So I have experience in this neighborhood. And I would end up at Big Tomato
Okay.
a lot just for the pizza. Wellman's is always a good spot. But what's there now that wasn't there when I lived there is Lachelle's.
That place rules.
I would sweat Lachelle's, I think, if I lived that close to Ingersoll Avenue. But, they've got Loyal Sons Barbershop. They've got a Walgreens. They have a grocery store. They have multiple banks. They have
Luceros.
Jesse Embers. That's another good one. All right there on Ingersoll Avenue. Star Bar.
Cheese Bar.
Ingersoll Tap. The Ingersoll Movie Theater is back up and running. Manhattan Deli. All types of stuff. All of that stuff I just listed is within a 12-minute walk. So really, really good location. I think that's what really sells this place.
And it's at 190.
190, that's hard to find. And I think in 3-4 years, I don't know if you'll be able to find that unless it's in a state of needing to be burnt down. So y'all better get in while you can.
Cool. Well, let's talk about some other food places because wanted to talk about Fairway Franks coming to Norwalk.
We need to check this out.
We gave the old rest in peace to Pyra Pizza, and while we were talking about that, I had mentioned that there was already a new owner that purchased the building to turn it into a restaurant. I didn't know that they were going to do something quite this cool because the coolest thing to point out with this place, not a very big building, but they installed 30 plus TVs in this building. So
for March Madness, that's what came to my mind immediately.
Yep, and it's just some good like bar food. They got burgers, they got pasta, so bar like Italian type atmosphere. And like I said, 30 TVs. Because of the way it's set up, they are set up pretty well if you wanted to host a private event there as well, too, because there's a separate room that they can kind of section off. I have some clients moving to Norwalk soon, and they're excited about this place because it seems like just a perfect place for, like you said, March Madness, NFL Sunday, a Saturday like this weekend for college football. There's a lot of great games on for
there's
college
going to be
football.
a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
And just being next to that, or I guess in Norwalk, everything is kind of near it, but it's relatively close to the Recplex, and it's kind of in between like the Recplex thing and the high school. So basketball tournaments and things like that, where I'm willing to bet, there's some big tournaments down there that book out all the schools in Norwalk plus that Recplex.
Yeah, I would throw out
like this definitely kind of satisfy that need, I think, in that regard.
I think the smart play, if you're a parent that has a kid that's going to play at Norwalk Central for a tournament or something like that, this place isn't necessarily right next door to it, like Tyler said.
Like Mollets is, right?
What's up?
Is there a Mollets? There's like a Mollets right next door. And
there's a Mollets, and then there's that new place that Cooper's opened.
Yeah.
Are all right there. There's a Starbucks right there. This might be the better place to just kind of trek over just a little bit and hang out there to a place that's probably going to be less busy and check it out. So
do you see them kind of, I'm not too familiar with like what all is in that little mini downtown area of Norwalk, that old Main Street. Like, is there any other plans to kind of, I feel like they could really lean into that. And
so like kitty corner to this place is a bar called 804 Main, and it sounds like they're going to be under new management, so that menu is going to get it revamped. I don't even know if I saw a news article about this, but this is just what I heard. That sounds like the new management is the same management that's running Sunset Lounge, which is a place that I don't know if we've talked about on the podcast yet. But it's right off of 28th Street. Like if you're driving through Norwalk, Lachelle's is good. This place's smash burger is just as good. I can promise you that. If you're ever in Norwalk, it is amazing. It is a really, really good smash burger. I hope that when they take over that bar that they don't do the same exact menu because that would get kind of redundant.
Yeah,
Um,
especially in a town like that.
yeah. The other thing to point out too, I don't know. I think we talked about this one on the podcast, but Flamingo Lounge just opened up in Norwalk too, which is at the old clubhouse of Warrior Run. That place is owned by the same people that own Angry Goldfish
And the damn pub.
and the damn pub. So if you
Oh,
like
wow.
either
So
of those,
that would be a dope spot. That'll be a very cool place.
yeah. So Norwalk, when I was in high school, I loved to make fun of them for not having anything interesting.
At a made right.
They had a Made Right, which is now called the Diner because they got rid of their Made Right franchise. But low key, great breakfast spot. Great breakfast spot. Very, very
Just like a coffee shop in that downtown area, I think would do really well. Good.
Yeah, they have yet to have like actual like local coffee shop.
Too many
open.
people probably needing to get out of town in the morning to go to work.
Yeah, so they have Norwalk has a Scooters and a Starbucks, and a Hyper Energy just opened out in Norwalk too. It seems like those places are opening everywhere.
I just got into coffee, so that's where my heart's at. Energy drinks like Hyper make
Have you voted on the Des Moines Register's poll for best coffee yet? Though
No, I was just looking at that. From that list, I take Slow Down Coffee Company all the way to the championship. I think.
I don't think I've been to Slow Down Coffee.
I love the vibe in there, and I like Highland Park. But
wasn't there another one that we've talked about on the podcast too? What other one got nominated? You said you had been there too. They had a cool vibe as well, but I'm blanking on it right now.
Let's see. I tried to go to Zanzibar Coffee the other day.
That was the one I was thinking of. Yeah.
But it was packed. There was nowhere to sit. So I walked back out and went somewhere else.
Let's talk about something else that I think will be cool if this ends up happening. There is someone that is starting a Kickstarter to fundraise for start opening up a Des Moines food hall, which is hopefully going to have a variety of small, different locally owned restaurants all under one roof, supporting independent chefs. And it's also going to have like a bar, patio, fire pits, yard games, pet friendly zones. So pets are going to be allowed. And it's just going to be focused very, very much on local. So local craft beers, wines, all that good stuff. And the Kickstarter campaign is funded. I think currently a third of it is funded. I don't even know if they've announced a location for where they're thinking this is going to go. I thought I would talk about it to bring awareness to it. If people want to support the Kickstarter, just Google Des Moines Food Hall. You will find their website. You will find their Kickstarter. I don't know if you saw. Did you see, Tyler, that in West Des Moines the hall just closed?
Yeah, I did because of like liquor license disputes or something.
Yeah, the new owner / manager that's taking over it, their liquor license got denied. One of the posts said it's temporarily closed, and then another one said it's permanently closed.
What's that mean? They were caught serving underage people alcohol too many times or something? That's where my mind went.
Sounds like the place that they used to own. This is all public information, so I'm not slandering.
Yeah, no, you're good.
There was a tax fraud charge, and then they were accused of lying on their previous food or liquor license. So they used the moral character clause to deny their liquor license. So the previous place that they owned was a club. And the owner that signed this new manager up for the lease said that they thought it would be fine because they are not opening up a club at the hall. They were basically taking it over and doing the same thing that he was doing previously. But it got denied. So that's kind of up in the air. I would think that someone's going to take over that place and reopen it.
Yeah, that place is sweet. I mean, I don't go there a bunch, but whenever I go there, it's always a good time.
Yeah.
Good energy in there.
I wanted to point this out, though, because it does seem like they're planning on it being a little bigger than what the hall is. Not as far as size, but they're claiming that they're going to have enough space to have 6 different pop-up restaurants in there.
Yeah.
So that'd be quite a bit more than what the hall currently did. I think the most I've ever seen at the hall was like 3 different food trucks.
Have you ever been to Decorah? I forget when we talked about this the other week.
I've never been to Decorah. Do they have something similar?
Yeah, I mean, it's nowhere. It's not this. It kind of is this though. It's a building, and everyone kind of just has like a stand, almost like it kind of reminds me of like Valley West Mall food court back in the day. But it was none of it was anything I had ever heard of. It was all locally owned restaurants, and
I think this could be. I think this could be kind of cool too, because like I think there's a lot of really good chefs in the Des Moines area, and it could provide them an opportunity to do some like pop in and do some unique things. I think it would be really, really interesting.
And again, just like tourism too, and that this is the type of stuff that attracts that out of towners would be attracted to, I think, which if you ask me is always good.
And personally, this would be a place I could sign up Jen to go to, because if she can't find something of 6 different restaurants that she likes,
she's the problem. See, me and you have been on the same page about this, about Jen. It's obviously Jen now.
All right, Tyler, are you a Toys R Us kid?
Yes. Yeah, Andrew sent this the other day. I was pretty pumped. Pretty cool.
I hope this is opening up before holidays.
Yeah, we I don't think it's down here. We went to the Mall of America during the summer, and they have a Toys R Us up there, and bought a couple of toys from Toys R Us for Isaiah while there. So yeah, I'm a recent shopper of Toys R Us.
So it was announced Toys R Us is going to be making a comeback and coming to the Jordan Creek Town Center. Have they announced where exactly this is going to be?
I haven't looked at it, I guess I should say. So I don't
the article I read, I don't think it specifically said, because the previous article I read from Jordan Creek, they said that all of their shops in the mall were open. So all the spots were claimed. So I'm wondering if this
is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome, to be honest.
The center in general still has a few buildings that are not currently being used, but the mall is full. So that's very, awesome. Very cool. So I'm wondering if this Toys R Us is going to be on any of the strip malls that they recently have built, or where exactly it's going to be. But it sounds like it's coming, hopefully before holidays, but if not, sometime next year. But yeah, it's great to see Toys R Us. I think that one on the south side of Des Moines, did that close right around 2018, 2019?
The last one I remember is the one by Andrew's house in Clive.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure it probably gets turned into like a Spirit or something, Spirit Halloween. I don't know actually, but I'm pretty sure, or maybe it's like a thrift market now or something. I don't know. But Toys R Us is awesome. I have a lot of memories there. Again, I feel like and maybe every toy store is like this. I guess I don't really remember being in a bunch of big toy stores. But like they have their toys out for you to play with and look at and see and all that stuff. And yeah, like when we were in the Mall of America, Hannah went to a couple of different stores, and me and Isaiah went in there. And not that I was playing with stuff, but I enjoyed my time in there. Like I wasn't, and Isaiah definitely enjoyed his time in there. They have those Schleiss animal figures. Places like this, they have that stuff, whereas online, again, you buy stuff online and pay shipping and all that other stuff. So yeah, especially good if you have a kid that's like obsessed with like one thing, like my kid was for a while, which was animals. And
it's more fun for kids to actually go into a shop and pick something out. I mean, I feel like just ordering them something online and it's showing up, like, you don't know if they're going to fall in love with that thing. If you take a kid into a toy store, hopefully they just fall in love with one thing.
Yeah, and there's something to be said about, like, I'll take you to the toy store, if you have a good week of school, or, picking your kid up on a Friday and say, let's go to the toy store. Like I remember having those memories. That's a fun time. So
what's the last thing you remember your parents buying you at Toys R Us?
It was probably my grandma that bought it. And I want to say, do you remember those Imagine X figure play sets?
Yeah.
with like the knights and dragons and stuff. I was into those for a while when I was like 10, 11 years old or so. And I don't know if this is the last one, but I specifically remember my grandma buying me a dragon where you could push his tail down and it shot out a little flame disc. But I remember leaving that Toys R Us on University and 22nd or whatever 22nd turns into there in Clive.
This probably relates more to Andrew, not to you, but I think the last thing I remember my grandparents buying me was a WWE action figure.
Yeah, I remember that too there. I remember they had a huge section.
It was just a big wall.
Yeah. Yeah, and like they, in the video game section, they had the type where you had the control here, and then you'd be like this for like 30 minutes playing. They had bikes. They had everything there at that. I can't imagine this store is going to be as big as that one that was in Clive.
No, I think it sounds like they're focusing more on doing smaller shops. So, and I think it's a good time for them to do it because it seems like, I mean, not only
real
like
estate or leases and stuff.
Kids always want toys, but like I feel like collectibles are more popular than ever. So I imagine Toys R Us is carrying like Funko Pops now and all of that stuff. What are those? The Boo-Boos? I bet they have those. So
Labubu's.
All right,
there's a liquor store down the street.
Are they selling Labubu's?
Yeah, I went in there to get some beer the other day, and they had Labubu's, and it said it was written like on a piece of paper. It said Labubu's inside. Like, what in the world, dude? If I catch one of my friends buying a Labubu, but if you go to a liquor store to buy a Labubu,
so is that not what you got me for a wedding present?
Nuh-uh. I'm getting you stone cold cash, baby.
Okay. You know what's
checkbook. I'm gonna whip this out for you, Thomas.
All right, let's end this with what's hopefully gonna be a fun segment. That when did we get our license, Tyler? What year?
2018.
2018. So it's been about 7 years now.
Yeah.
And
February 2018 for me.
I feel like every 2 or 3 months or so, I have to take a step back and I want to put out a message to the world of stuff that I think people should know. Public service announcements, if you will. One of them came up again this week, and I want everyone to know that we did not tell ADT to stop and knock on your door and set up a security system for you. Do you have anything that you want all your buyers and sellers to know?
Yeah, I mean, along those lines, ADT got my own wife at her old house. He came home and the ADT guy said, "Yeah, I got your number from your realtor." I was like, "Dude, I'm my own realtor." The heck? So yeah, there's some sly dogs, them and like pest control people, or like places like BAM or not a BAM, like Mad City, Windows, and big time companies like that like have their own product, their own windows that they make, or their own bass fittings or inserts.
You've had them knock on your buyer's door or reach out to your buyers and try to sell windows, saying that they talk to you?
I don't know necessarily if they talk, but soon after they closed, they went up to the house because they saw their new owners type of thing. So yeah, any of those people, we don't do that.
If we did, we would tell you first.
Yeah, and if we did, it wouldn't be ADT either. Could be.
For people that don't know, the ADT thing, they hire third parties to sell their product. So that's why it has gotten so aggressive and why they tell just straight up lies, basically.
Yeah.
For example, I had one of them knock on one of my clients' doors, and they said to this buyer that there was a shooting just a block away from their house. And we ended up looking it up because my buyer called me, and no such thing happened. So just lies.
Or just tell them, hey man, shootings happen every day.
They do. But to say one just happened a block away from your house.
No, yeah. That doesn't surprise me whatsoever.
Anything else you think buyers and sellers should know?
Junk mail is huge. You're just going to get a ton of junk mail really for like the rest of your life. It's just kind of what you got to deal with. But especially after you buy your house, you're going to get a bunch of junk mail. Again, same thing, soliciting services.
Yeah, people are going to pretend to be your home warranty company and they need a little bit more information. Double check. It's probably not your actual home warranty company. We will send you that information if you ask for it. People will pretend to be your lender with a few more questions. What other ones come up?
Those are the big ones for me in that regard. But I also get to thinking about like Zillow. After you buy your house, you as a buyer can go on there and say and claim your house on Zillow and have the pictures taken off. Don't know if people know that. It's pretty
you
simple.
can do the same thing on Realtor.com as well too.
Yeah, it's pretty simple to do. I'm happy to do it if you want me to do it for you. But that always, I do it for when I buy a house. I don't necessarily love that being out there forever. What else? Changing the locks on your house. Super simple. It's like one of the easiest things you can do to go buy. And, obviously there's some really fancy
and speaking of
handles and stuff, but that's a super simple thing you can do to kind of just give yourself an added layer of security.
And speaking of, home warranty companies a lot of time cover that. They cover a rekey. So if you do get a home warranty on your purchase, check the paperwork and see if they'll do that for just the service call, which with First American is what, like $75?
Yep.
Pretty easy to do.
Yeah. One thing that people, buyers and sellers, like ahead of closing, don't always understand unless you've already done other things. I just came across this a couple of days ago, so it's top of mind, is that like when you say you close on a house on October 1st and your closing's at 9 a.m., you as the seller, you're supposed to be completely out of the house on October 1st at 9 a.m. It's not like, okay, that's when you start the move out process or anything like that. Like that's when everything is supposed to be done. Like it's not your house anymore. You're not allowed to be there.
Unless otherwise negotiated.
Unless you've negotiated extra possession. But that's something to be aware of. That changes people's moving plans and maybe forces you to hire movers or get a storage unit or get a hotel for the night or something like that. But something to be aware of as buyers and sellers. When closing day happens, as a seller, you have to be out of the house.
Was it one that you guys helped someone purchase or help someone sell that you guys had to show up and start helping someone move stuff out?
Both, multiple times, but that's why it's kind of on my mind. So, I mean, I can understand if people, and maybe that's something that we could have done better.
Yeah.
Is communicating that, but that's what I'm doing right now, learning from my mistakes.
So. I'm trying to think. There was one other one that I was just thinking about the other day that I was.
I would say, like, as a seller, like, dude, if your photos suck, you could tell if your photos suck on Zillow. Like, you don't have to come hire me or you. I would love that, but like, you can hire any.
What I would just say too,
a different realtor and get better photos.
So say like my house in West Des Moines. If my house was listed, I would just really quickly like go West Des Moines houses and scroll down. And if yours sticks out like a sore thumb,
yeah,
your photos probably aren't that good.
Yeah. Like I was just looking for a client of ours for townhouses, West Des Moines townhouses. And some of these things have been listed for 150 days. And it's like even an iPhone 6 would have taken better photos than that. Like I don't get what. So again, as a seller, you do not have to. That's one thing for sure you don't have to settle for, is bad photos in 2025. That's like,
I would say for like listing services, like base level. I'm not saying that we do this, we do better service than this, but base level from your selling agent, like you should get a really good price opinion. You should get professional photos done. And if they're saying that they're doing them themselves, look at their previous photos. And there should be a sign in a lockbox in the yard, and it should be listed on the MLS. That's like base like level. If any listing agent wants a pat on the back for doing those things, you don't get it because you just did base level service.
Yeah. And along those lines, again, like you don't, as buyers and sellers, you guys hold the cards when it comes to real estate agents. At the end of the day, like we want to earn your business, because if you don't use us to buy or sell, we don't get paid and make a living. So with that said, like if you feel like you're being underserved or not valued enough by your realtor, you don't have to settle for that. And I think that's a pretty important thing. Just because it's your mom's best friend or your cousin or whatever, if you don't think they're doing their job well enough,
on that note, something buyers should know: if you picked a buyer's agent and signed a buyer's rep agreement with them and you're not satisfied with the service, canceling those agreements is pretty easy. Don't cancel them on us, but
yeah, that's another one that kind of hits close to home for the team, huh? Yeah. That's kind of, those are the big ones that come to my mind. I always, again, if you buy a house with me, like obviously you need to keep track of your closing disclosure and stuff like that for taxes, but that's something I'll remind you of. I know you remind your people of that type of stuff. I'd say another big thing that just came to my mind is, like, as a home buyer, what's most important is your monthly payment amount.
Mm-hmm.
You could buy a house for $50 million and make the payment cost $1,300 a month. It might make perfect sense for you to buy that house.
Yeah. And then I will say too, on the buyer side of things too, I know a lot of people think about this, but your inspection period is your time and opportunity to do all the due diligence you could ever want. Once that is done, if you find out any new information that changes your opinion on the house, it is kind of hard to back out of the contract without losing your earnest money. So any possible question that you could have, our purchase agreements also have a time period set in there to get home insurance locked up. I would definitely do that as quickly as you can to make sure that there's nothing weird that's going to come out with that. But all the questions you want answered, make sure that they're answered before you send your inspection request.
That's something else to add to the PSA. You said we've been at this since 2018 at the beginning of this segment. Since then, that's one of the biggest changes I would say is, like, I remember first starting, or like when I bought my first house, like I got 3 quotes. It was super easy to get those 3 quotes. It wasn't, it was just, how old's the roof and the AC. Got 3 quotes. All of them were super, super similar. That's not necessarily the case now. Like insurance there's many more nuances to it. Is that the right word?
And there's a lot more insurance companies that aren't exactly excited to insure houses in Iowa. So like
ones and stuff like that. So as a buyer, that's something that you should, you get your home under contract, you pay your earnest money, get your inspection scheduled, get locked in with your lender, lock in your rates, and get your insurance figured out. Like that should all be done within the first 2 or 3 days of getting your house under contract.
Cool. Well, Tyler, I think this is another great episode. I hope we all have a great weekend. You doing an open house this weekend?
Yeah, I'm doing an open house at 1207 Emma Avenue, our awesome South Side listing with that big old garage on the back of it. It's heated and cooled. It's all empty, ready for an owner.
Amazing garages. And
I feel like cool people have cool garages. I mean, I don't have a cool garage, but
even the 4th Street one in Grimes that just got an accepted offer, that had a cool garage.
Heated.
Yeah. So if you want to see 2 heated garages, hit us up on Sunday. We'll see you there.
Yeah, in theory, it's a South Side listing and a South Side listing. So you could just hang out on the South Side all day.
Take Highway 5 South and just keep on heading down. All right. Have a great weekend, guys.
Bye.